Hi, I'm Gustavo, professional executive coach. I help people reach the next level in their lives, their careers, and their relationships. And the topic today is how to increase your reputation at work. There are many ways you can increase your reputation at work, but in the next 6 minutes, I am going to share with you some of the most essential ways in which you can achieve that. Let's dive straight into it. Today, we are going to focus on 3 things in order to increase your reputation at work. So number 1, understanding what value is. Number 2, having immaculate integrity and being very reliable. And number 3, the most difficult one, is doing a little self-promotion for yourself. One of the easiest ways you have to increase your reputation at work is obviously by adding value. However, most people tend not to fully understand this very basic concept. Now, the proof to that is that most people expect to receive a great performance review, but instead they end up being disappointed. And when that happens, clearly your boss and you both had a totally different interpretation of what true value was. Another huge misconception is that staying late at work adds value, but it doesn't. It really doesn't. So for example, I once had a direct report who would consistently go home before anybody else, and yet he always had the best performance reviews, and that's because he added exactly the value I wanted him to add. So if you are going to stay late, then make sure you're adding exactly the value your boss wants you to add, because otherwise you are just wasting your time. So first, you need to have absolute clarity as to what value means to your line manager, and then understand this very basic distinction between adding value versus adding more. Now, when you give someone more of what they want, you're adding value. But when you give someone more of what you want them to have, you're just simply adding more. So if you want a great reputation, then make sure you are giving people more of what they want and not so much of what you want them to have. So the number 1 tip here is have an honest and open conversation with your line manager about value, and do the same with your peers, with your clients, and even with your subordinates, and find out exactly what value is for them, and then add more of that to every single one of them. Sorry, a little bit of a pause, but and once you do this, just sit back and watch your reputation growing every day. Being reliable is one of the most valuable traits you can have professionally, because without reliability, you cannot build trust, and without trust, you cannot have a good reputation. So, put simply, if you say you are going to do something, you do it no matter what. But if you make a commitment, you fulfill the commitment. If you say you are going to call someone, you call. Because if you cannot follow through even the most menial things, then people won't trust you with bigger ones. Reliability and integrity are the signature of the greatest. What I'm going to say next is going to sound very unappealing, but it's the ultimate truth. Now, being reliable is like being predictable. In fact, predictability, it's a very likable quality because humans like things and people who are predictable. So for example, you like certain products because you can predict what these products are going to do for you time and time again. And you like certain restaurants and certain shops because you can predict the service they are going to provide you with. And believe it or not, we tend to like the people we see as highly predictable. If you think about it, the people you like and love the most in your life, your relatives, your friends, your spouses, your children are all very predictable to you because you know how they are going to react in the face of almost any situation, and that is exactly what you like. Now the same principle is applicable at work. If you are reliable and predictable in a positive way, of course, then you'll build your brand, and as a result your reputation at work will skyrocket. Bad news travel a lot faster than good news. We all know that. But most people are very poor at marketing themselves. That is, they either don't do it at all or they just overdo it, and that makes them look very unprofessional. I used to tell my direct reports that their job was to bring balance to everything they did. And that included telling me all the good things they have been doing and sharing their victories with me, because I could rely on the bad news getting to me sooner or later without them having to tell me anything about it. I didn't want them to allow me to have a one-sided perception of them if all I heard about the performance was negative and bad news. When you're timid about sharing your outcomes and successes, you are actually being a detriment to yourself professionally. And yes, you heard that right. You can be your worst enemy at times. I constantly hear horror stories from people telling me about instances when other people steal their credit for their actions and achievements. Sounds familiar? If you are shy or embarrassed about your outcomes, then sadly, you won't be very attractive and popular professionally, and others will profit from that. Many people assume that building success and a good reputation at work and in life in general, it's a passive process, but it is very much an active process based on adding value, being reliable, and yes, even marketing yourself. Even doing your own marketing at work. Now remember this and change your mindset today. Drop that shyness and false sense of humility and start sharing your victories with everyone around, and always take credit for your achievements. I hope you find today's topic valuable and are motivated to take your reputation and success to the next level. Now feel free to email me if you have any questions or concerns about building your reputation at work, or if there is any other topic you'd like me to address for you. I'm Gustavo, professional executive coach, and I help winners win some more. Thanks for watching.